Welcome, friends. Tonight, I'm going to tell you 5 disturbing horror stories. Sit back, relax, and let your nightmares take control. I've always had a curious streak. That's what I tell myself. That's how I justify the night everything changed. It started with a Reddit thread, some throwaway comment about a hidden corner of the dark web. Someone mentioned a place called a Red Room, the kind of thing you assume is just urban legend. Live stream torture, bidding wars on human lives, pay to control the pain. It sounded like something from a bad horror movie, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. A few days later, I downloaded Tor, set up a VPN, did everything the guide said would keep me safe. Felt like I was peeling back reality, one layer at a time. Each click dragged me deeper into the rot behind the web's glossy surface. Most of it was junk, black market sites, data dumps, weird message boards. But then I found a forum called the Hangman's Knot. It was only accessible with a private invite code that I'd stolen from a pastebin link buried under 10 layers of threads. There was a section marked Live Events, and under that, a link that simply read, Red Room, live tonight, 2 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated. I should have closed the browser. I should have shut it all down. But instead, I clicked. The screen went black. For a moment, I thought it crashed. Then red text slowly faded in. Welcome. Guest number 341. You are now watching. The video feed was low quality, but clear enough to make out a dimly lit room. Concrete walls, a single metal chair bolted to the floor. Shackles hung from the ceiling. It looked like a basement, old, damp, the kind of place that smelled like mold and copper. Person was dragged into frame. They were blindfolded, trembling. Duct tape covered their mouth. I wanted to believe it was staged, a performance, some twisted ARG. Then the chat on the side of the screen lit up. 500 if you cut off a finger. Make them scream. I'll pay double. Burn them. Slowly, a masked figure stepped into frame, holding a tray of tools. I froze. My hand hovered over the mouse. I wanted to look away, but something held me there. Something between horror and disbelief. This couldn't be real. Could it? The masked figure raised a pair of bolt cutters. The blindfolded person screamed through the tape. I shut the laptop. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that room, that person, those eyes. In the morning, I convinced myself it had to be fake. An elaborate hoax for sickos to feel powerful. There's no way that kind of thing could really happen, right? But that night, an email arrived. Subject, we saw you watching. From unknown@rednet.onion. There was no body, just a timestamp and a new link. Tonight, 2 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated, you're next. I threw my laptop across the room, but that wasn't the end. The next morning, I found something slid under my apartment door. A printed photo, black and white, grainy, but it was unmistakably me, sitting in front of my laptop, face lit by the glow of the screen. I hadn't told anyone. I hadn't shared anything online. I'd taken every precaution. They still found me. I went to the police. They brushed me off, said it was likely a prank. Stay offline for a while, they said. I smashed my router, wiped my drives, burned the laptop in my bathtub. I thought if I cut the cord, it would stop, but it didn't. The next night, my phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. I didn't answer. Then my TV turned on by itself. The screen was black at first. Then the same room appeared, the same red-lit basement. This time, the chair was empty, but there was a name on the wall behind it. My name. I unplugged the TV, smashed the screen. That should have been it. But the Red Room isn't just a site. It's not just a stream. It's a virus, a haunting, a curse you invite when you watch. Now, every night at 2 a.m., I hear the sound of metal chains dragging across the floor. The lights flicker. The air turns cold. One night, I woke up with bruises around my wrists, as if something had tried to tie me down. Another night, I woke up facing my bedroom mirror, and someone else was in the reflection. Last week, I moved across the country. New number, new identity, no electronics. I don't even own a phone anymore. It hasn't helped. Last night, a knock came at 2 a.m. I didn't answer, but this morning I found a USB drive on my windowsill. No note, Just one file inside redroom_live.mp4. I haven't opened it. Not yet, but I can feel something watching me from behind the walls. The shadows twitch when I move. I don't sleep anymore. I just wait, because I know what happens when the stream goes live again. This time, I won't be a viewer. I'll be the show. It started as a dare. Danny was always the fearless one in our group, if fearlessness was another word for being foolish with a side of ego. He was into the underground internet, not just torrenting or pirated films. I'm talking about the real depths, the kind of digital back alleyways lit by the glow of encrypted sites with URLs that looked like corrupted code. One night, we were in his dim basement, half drunk, the blue light of his monitor illuminating his face like a ghost. He turned toward us, me, Josh, and Krista, and said, "Want to see something insane?" I wish we had said no. He pulled up Tor, the dark web browser. He had it pre-installed with layers of VPNs and encryption I didn't understand. Danny was careful, methodical, but even with all his bravado, I saw the slight twitch in his eye when he typed the address .room666x.onion. There was no loading screen, just a black background, and in red typewriter font, "Welcome to room 666. Stream begins in 1500 hours." Below it, a live chat buzzed with anticipation in various languages. Some users had names like MeatLover88 and Bloodhost. Emojis of knives, skulls, pigs, and eyeballs littered the feed. The countdown ticked. Krista laughed nervously. "It's fake, right? Just performance art or some dumb ARG." Danny didn't reply. He just leaned in closer. At 0, the screen flickered. For a second, it was just static and a low hum. Then a room appeared, dimly lit by a single bare bulb swinging from the ceiling. Person stood there, motionless, masked, their eyes visible through holes in a burlap sack. No sound, just the hum, deep, low, vibrating the speakers. On the right of the stream, a poll. It read, "Choose the first tool. Hammer, pliers, razor, fire." Votes began flooding in. Krista got up. "Okay, nope. This is gross. I'm out." Josh followed her. I stayed. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it was fake. Or maybe some twisted part of me wanted to believe people weren't capable of what I was about to witness. The votes tallied. Razor won. A sliding tray extended into the room, like a magician's trick, presenting the chosen item. The figure picked it up slowly and turned to a shadowed corner. That's when the camera shifted. There was someone else. They were bound to a chair, naked, their eyes wild, gagged with duct tape. They tried to move, but their limbs were secured with steel clamps. Danny whispered, "This isn't a game." He tried to exit the site, but the browser wouldn't close. He hit ESC, Alt plus F4. Nothing worked. Then a message appeared in the chat from an admin named at Rootflesh. "Guests cannot leave early. Cameras are active. Smile." Danny's webcam light blinked on. We stared at it in horror. Krista screamed from upstairs. Josh ran to unplug the router. The stream continued. The figure approached the prisoner. With slow, deliberate movements, they began drawing lines across their arm with the razor. Blood ran like red ink. The person screamed through the gag, but it was muted, like the video itself was soundproof. Danny picked up his laptop and smashed it on the floor. Sparked, then died. Darkness. We all slept in the same room that night. We didn't talk. The air was heavy, soaked with something we couldn't wash off. 2 days later, Josh went missing. First, we thought he just needed space, but his phone went dark. His Instagram was wiped. His parents filed a report. The cops questioned us, but what could we say? We watched a cursed live stream and now our friend is gone? Then Krista received an envelope. Inside, a flash drive. She called me crying. I came over. We opened it together. Contained a video.
No interfase.
Just a file named Smilefris.mp4. The video opened on a forest.
Handled Shakicam.
Someone running, panting. Then Josh tied to a tree. Eyes wide, mouth taped. He was still alive. The camera panned to a small chalkboard on the ground. Written in thick red letters. He was a guest who left early. We called the police. They confiscated the drive, said they'd investigate, but nothing came of it. A week later, Krista disappeared too. Same pattern. No signs of struggle. Just vanished, like she'd been plucked from reality. Then I got the email.
No sender.
Just a subject line. It's your turn to watch. Inside, a link another .onion address. This time I didn't need Tor. It opened on its own. Full screen. My webcam light turned on. There was the room again. Dim bulb, swinging shadows, and Krista strapped to the same chair. Still alive. For now. The poll began again. Choose the tool. Fire one. I slammed my laptop shut, yanked the battery, cried on the floor like a child. But it didn't end. Every screen in my house, TV, phone, tablet, turned on at midnight. That same room, that same masked figure. Then a new message, etched into the wall behind Krista. There are no spectators, only participants. It's been months now. I've moved 4 times, burned every device, gone off-grid, but they still find me. Sometimes in reflections, sometimes in my dreams. Once, I swear I saw the masked figure on the subway, just standing there, not moving. They've infected my life, my mind. I can feel them watching even now. As I write this, the keys are heavier. My fingers shake. The air hums like static. This isn't a warning. It's an invitation. Because you're reading this. And now, you're watching too. The cursor blinked, a silent accusation in the dim glow of my laptop screen. I'd been down rabbit holes before, torrent sites, sketchy forums, even a few onion links out of morbid curiosity. But this was different. The whispers on X had been persistent, a thread that refused to die. Red rooms are real. They're out there if you know where to look. I didn't believe it, not really. Urban legend, creepypasta nonsense. But at 3 a.m., with the world asleep and my insomnia clawing at me, disbelief felt like a challenge. I'd already installed Tor, the browser a clunky relic compared to Chrome. The dark web wasn't what people thought. Less a neon-lit cyberpunk underworld, more a patchwork of broken links and scam sites. I'd poked around before, finding nothing but fake hitman services and overpriced crypto exchanges. But this time I had a lead. A user on X, handle nullvoid_88, had dropped a.onion link in a thread before their account vanished. No explanation, just the URL and a warning. Don't join unless you're ready to pay. I copied it, my fingers hesitating over the keys. Curiosity burned hotter than fear. The link loaded slowly, Tor's relays grinding through layers of encryption. A black page appeared, stark except for red text. Welcome to the Red Room. Invitation only. Enter your bid. Below was a field for a Bitcoin address and a number. No instructions, no context. My heart thudded. I'd read about these supposed live streams where you paid to watch things, torture, murder, worse. The kind of stuff that made you question humanity. I told myself it was fake, a scam to drain my wallet. But I had a burner Bitcoin address, a few bucks worth of crypto from a side hustle. What was the harm in playing along? I entered 0.01 BTC, about $600 at the time, and hit submit. The screen froze, then refreshed. Access granted. Stream begins in 12 hours. Rules: no screenshots.
No recordings.
No names. Betrayal means consequences. A countdown timer ticked down. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 47 seconds. I stared, my mouth dry. This was too real. I slammed my laptop shut and paced my apartment. The city's hum outside my window suddenly oppressive. Sleep didn't come. The next day, I tried to distract myself. Work, coffee, scrolling X. But the timer was a splinter in my mind. I checked the link again at noon. The countdown was at 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 22 seconds. No way to back out, no contact info. Just the promise of a stream. I Googled Red Room Dark Web, finding the usual mix of Reddit skepticism and sensationalist articles. Most called it a myth, a hoax preying on the gullible. But a few posts buried deep hinted at something real. People who'd seen things they couldn't unsee. One claimed their friend disappeared after joining a stream. I laughed it off, but my hands shook. By nightfall, I was wired on energy drinks. My apartment dark except for the laptop's glow. The timer hit midnight. The screen shifted to a video feed, grainy but clear enough. A concrete room, lit by a single red bulb dangling from the ceiling. A metal chair bolted to the floor. Restraints on the arms and legs. My stomach churned. A chat window blinked to life on the right, usernames like Crimson Eye and No God Here popping up. No one spoke at first. Then, a message from host. Place your requests. Highest bid wins. I froze. Requests. The chat erupted. Crimson Eye, start with knives. 0.05 BTC. No God Here, waterboard first. 0.07 BTC. My eyes darted to the Bitcoin field. I could bid, but for what? To watch someone suffer? To prove I wasn't scared? I typed nothing, my fingers hovering. The door in the room creaked open on screen. A figure in a black hood dragged in a man, mid-30s, gagged and thrashing. His eyes were wide, pleading through the feed. They strapped him to the chair. Host, 0.1 BTC for first cut. Bidding closes in 60 seconds. The chat went wild. Numbers climbed. 0.12, 0.15, 0.2. I wanted to close the tab, but I couldn't. The man's muffled screams filled my headphones, tinny but raw. Host, sold to Bloodwraith for 0.3 BTC. Knives it is. The hooded figure pulled a blade from a table I hadn't noticed. The man bucked against the restraints. I yanked my headphones off, but my eyes stayed glued. The knife glinted under the red light, and then I slammed the laptop shut. My chest heaved, sweat soaking my shirt. This wasn't a game. This was real. Or was it? Deepfakes, actors, special effects, it could be staged. But those eyes. I reopened the laptop. The stream was still running. The man was slumped, blood pooling on the floor. The chat was alive, bids flying for the next act.
Igegd, Bila Rising.
Host, new bidder detected. Silent observer, place your request or leave. My username, they knew I was watching. Panic hit. I hadn't typed anything, hadn't bid. How did they know? I tried to close Tor, but it lagged, the stream refusing to die. Host, you paid to enter. You stay until the end. My router blinked. I yanked the plug from the wall. The screen went black. Silence except for my ragged breathing. I sat there, staring at nothing. Until dawn crept through my blinds, I didn't touch my laptop for 2 days. I called in sick, avoided X, tried to pretend it didn't happen. But on the third night, an email pinged my burner account. No sender, no subject, just a link. My hands shook as I clicked. It was a screenshot of the Red Room stream, my username in the chat. Below, text, you watched. You're part of it now. Next stream, 48 hours. Where we find you. A Bitcoin address followed, demanding 1 BTC, $60, 000. I didn't have that kind of money. I went to the police. They listened, skeptical, and took my laptop. Dark web scams are common, they said. Don't pay. Change your accounts. Lay low. But they didn't see the man's eyes. They didn't feel the chat's hunger. I moved to a friend's place, deleted my X account, ditched my phone. For a week, nothing happened. I started to breathe again. Then, last night, my friend's Wi-Fi glitched. His smart TV flicked on, showing a red-lit room. The same chair, the same restraints. A new face, a woman this time, staring into the camera. Host's voice crackled through the speakers. Silent observer, you didn't pay. You don't get to hide. The screen cut to black, then showed my friend's apartment building. My floor, my door. I'm writing this from a burner phone in a motel. Tor uninstalled. My life unraveling. The dark web isn't a myth. It's a trap, and I walked right in. They're coming, and I don't know how to stop them. The glow of my monitor was the only light in my cramped studio apartment, casting shadows that seemed to writhe in the corners. I'd always been a night owl, trawling the internet's underbelly for thrills, hacker forums, leaked data dumps, the occasional .onion site. The dark web was a maze of dead ends and scams, but I'd heard the rumors on X, in threads that vanished as quickly as they appeared. Red rooms exist. Pay enough and you'll see things you can't unsee. I didn't buy it. The stories were too outlandish. Live stream torture, bidders dictating the horror like some twisted auction. But at 2 a.m., With the city silent and my curiosity gnawing, I decided to chase the myth. I'd bookmarked a Onion link months ago, shared by an ex-user called Ghost Key before their account went dark. The Tor browser loaded sluggishly, its relays bouncing my signal across continents. The page was minimalist. Black background, red text, a single input field. Enter your bid to join the silent room. No refunds, no mercy. Below, a Bitcoin wallet address and a timer. 8 hours, 47 minutes, and 12 seconds. My pulse quickened. I had a small stash of crypto, 0.02 BTC, about $1,200, left over from a freelance gig. It was a gamble, but I'd spent more on dumber things. I sent the payment and hit enter. The screen flickered, then displayed, access granted. Stream begins in 8 hours. Rules, no speaking, no sharing, no leaving. A chill crawled up my spine. I told myself it was a scam, a high-budget LARP for sickos with too much money. I closed my laptop and tried to sleep, but the timer's red digits burned behind my eyelids. The next morning, I couldn't focus. My coffee went cold as I refreshed X, searching for any mention of the silent room. Nothing. The threads were gone, scrubbed clean. My Tor browser was still open, the countdown now at 32 minutes and 17 seconds. I considered bailing, but I'd already paid. What was the worst that could happen? A fake stream? A virus? I'd reformatted my laptop before. I could do it again. At 0 hour, the screen shifted to a video feed. A concrete bunker, lit by a flickering red bulb. A steel table sat in the center, straps dangling from its edges. The room was empty, but the air felt heavy, like the feed itself was watching me. A chat window appeared, usernames like Veilwalker and Ironpulse joining silently. No one typed. The rules echoed in my head. No speaking. Then, a message from Overseer. Bidding begins. Highest offer chooses the tool. A field popped up for Bitcoin amounts and a drop-down menu. Knife, pliers, drill, acid.my stomach twisted. This was too real. I hovered over the close button, but my cursor froze. The feed glitched, and for a split second, my webcam light blinked on. I slapped a piece of tape over it, heart pounding. Overseer, silent bidder, you're in. Bid or leave. My username. They knew I was here. I hadn't typed, hadn't interacted. How? A figure in a hooded cloak entered the frame, dragging a woman, maybe 20s, blindfolded and gagged. Her muffled cries were faint but piercing through my headphones. They strapped her to the table, her body trembling. The chat stayed silent, but bids rolled in. 0.05 BTC for pliers, 0.08 for the knife. I wanted to look away, but my eyes were locked on the screen. The woman's blindfold slipped, revealing one terrified eye staring straight into the camera. Straight at me. Overseer, 0.15 BTC for drill. Sold to Ironpulse. The hooded figure picked up a power drill, its whine cutting through the feed. I yanked my headphones off, but the sound seemed to echo in my skull. I slammed my laptop shut, my hands shaking so badly I knocked over my coffee mug. The crash jolted me back to reality. This wasn't fake. No actor could fake that fear. That I unplugged my router, killed the power to my laptop, and sat in the dark, listening to my own breathing. I told myself it was over. I'd paid my stupid fee, seen too much, and now I'd walk away. But my phone buzzed, an email to my burner account. No sender, just a message. You watched. You owe 1 BTC or we show the world. Attached was a screenshot of the stream, my username highlighted in the chat. Below, a grainy photo of my apartment building, taken from the street. I didn't sleep. The next day, I bought a VPN, wiped my laptop, and moved to a cheap motel across town. I avoided X, ditched my old email, and got a new phone. For 3 days, I thought I was clear. Then, at midnight, my new phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. Silent bidder, you can't hide. Stream tomorrow. Pay or play. A .onion link followed. I didn't click it. I smashed the phone with a hammer and flushed the pieces. I checked into another motel, paying cash using a fake name. But the Wi-Fi there auto-connected, and my new tablet, brand new, never used, pinged with a notification. A video file downloaded without my input. I opened it against every instinct. The red-lit room again. The same table, empty now. Overseer's voice, distorted and cold. You broke the rules. You left. The camera panned to a wall, where a photo was pinned me, walking to the motel. Unaware I was being watched, I'm writing this from a library computer. Tor uninstalled. My life in a backpack. I don't know who they are or how they found me. The dark web isn't a playground. It's a predator. I hear footsteps outside my cubicle now, slow and deliberate. I don't think I'll make it to tomorrow's stream. They say if you dig deep enough into the web, really deep, you find things you were never meant to see. My name is Alex. I'm a cybersecurity student. Or at least I was until last winter when everything changed. Started as a joke. Me and a couple friends in my online Discord group started daring each other to find the creepiest corners of the dark web. We'd heard of red rooms, supposed live streams of real torture. Everyone called them hoaxes, urban legends, just creepypasta with Bitcoin. But one night, while exploring a hidden forum called The Hollow Thread, I found something different. It wasn't a site exactly. It was a command prompt embedded in an Onion page, asking for a single phrase. Do you want to see? I hesitated, then typed yes. A timer appeared. 10 minutes. A single word. Prepare. My lights flickered. Probably a coincidence. I waited, heart thudding. Then the browser window blacked out, replaced with a live video feed. First, I thought it was fake. The room was dimly lit with a red hue, almost theatrical. A metal table stood in the center, its surface dark and stained. Chains hung from the ceiling, swaying slowly, as if stirred by breath. Then the camera shifted. A person unconscious was tied to the table, pale, wearing a hospital gown, shallow breathing, mouth duct taped. The chat box beside the stream lit up. Usernames scrolled by Silent Saw, Bitbreath, Null Entry. One message from admin. This is not a show. It's a choice. Stay and you're part of it. Leave and it remembers you. My screen froze. Then a voice, low and synthetic, crackled from my speakers. Viewer 913, you've been selected to vote. Below the stream, 2 buttons appeared. Pain, silence, no instructions, no context, just pressure. I hovered my mouse over silence, unsure what it meant. The chat flooded. Bitbreath, don't be a coward. Meet Signal, we're watching you. 913.admin 5 seconds. I clicked silence. The masked figure on screen. I hadn't noticed him before. Stepped away from the table. Instead of doing anything to the victim, he walked toward the camera. Closer, closer. I leaned back, felt like he was staring through the lens. Then he raised his hand and pointed. Not at the camera, at me. The screen went black. My heart pounded as I slammed the laptop shut. Unplugged it, tossed it across the room. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, something felt off. My webcam, covered with a sticker, was torn. My speakers kept popping, like someone trying to speak through static. And on my desktop, a new folder appeared. I hadn't connected to the internet since the night before. It was labeled silent_vote. Inside, a single image, a still from the stream, but the victim was gone. The table empty, and on it, scrawled in blood, "Here US." I went to the police, told them my laptop was hacked, showed them the image. They took a report, asked some questions, but they didn't take it seriously, just shrugged it off as a prank or a virus. That night, I stayed at a friend's place. I didn't touch the internet. I didn't even turn on my phone. But at 3:11 a.m., the smart TV flicked on by itself. Red screen, then the same stream. Now, a different person was tied down, crying, eyes darting wildly, looking around the room as if trying to find the source of some sound. And then I heard it too, from the walls, from behind the screen. Whispers, not voices, just noise shaped like language. And over it all, the same prompt, viewer 913, vote again. Same buttons, pain, silence. I didn't click. I unplugged the TV, but the red light didn't go away, kept glowing on the blank screen. That's when I realized it wasn't just a stream. It wasn't about watching. It was about pulling you in. I left town the next day, deleted everything, smashed my laptop, switched phones, got a new name, even faked an ID to start over in another state. I thought I'd escaped, Until yesterday, package arrived at my new apartment. No return address. Inside, a USB stick and a single Polaroid, a photo of me sitting at the TV at my friend's place at 3:11 a.m. The back of the photo said, "We never forget our viewers." I haven't plugged in the USB. I won't, but the red light is coming back, flickering in corners, on screens I didn't turn on. And sometimes, late at night, I hear whispers through the vents, just behind the walls. They're not looking for viewers anymore. They're looking for participants. Thank you for listening. Hope I didn't scare you too much. Let me know which one did you like the most and why. Sweet dreams.